The perps that are still here at the Nut House in Hillsboro have pledged allegiance to never stop suiciding me. And what they use to try as a patsy system is, and I don't understand all of it, and it wouldn't matter if they explained it to me anyways, they want to suicide 1.5 million Americans. But this use of this doppelganger, which I don't totally understand, but like I said, I saw it like right behind me. If you're an EMF perpetrator or EMF person, you can see the doppelganger use, but it's used to suicide a TI, and I don't totally understand all of it, but they know how to exploit the human condition. Last night they were talking about these perpetrators, how observing women's minds, because women, and they use it to exploit them specifically, but because women, and they've observed this because they use the R&M and, you know, observe women. Women don't like receiving pleasure where they urinate from. And these perpetrators for human trafficking, exploitation, degrading the human condition, and womanizing human trafficking have figured out through R&M that women really don't value their vaginas, is what they have been talking about for these last 2 years. And with that information, they try to like force women into sex by, I didn't hear all of it. I was trying to not let it pass through and not listen to it, but through somehow observing that women don't like receiving pleasure where they urinate, and that they don't, and thus don't really value their vagina, and they're like embarrassed by it. If they didn't have this biological creational thing, they were saying women would be showing their vaginas to everybody, which like would have increased population growth. And, but I guess women are really ashamed of their vaginas. So they drive this data from observing women with the R&M, and there was something they were they were explaining how through using this, like these dirtbags use that to coerce women into sex, like something that, I don't know, women, and they're like, yeah, because women are designed to be exploited, is some of the stuff that they were talking about recently. And then they're exploiting me and obviously trying to exploit me as a TI. I try not to pay attention to it because I'm not going to like talk about a woman peeing or something like that, or be like, anyways, like I'm getting exploited. They're using a doppelganger. They've pledged allegiance to never stop using a doppelganger, and never stop designing my suicide, and tried to make me out to look like the perp when I'm a TI, and other applied narcissism when they may not be narcissists at all. Yeah, so I don't totally know what to do, and I think with the R&M headgear, I haven't searched the dark web yet or anything like that to find my own headgear, but I suspect it's probably sold on one of those websites where you have to be an EMF person to even see the link to the website on the secret second internet. But don't exploit women because because they don't value their vaginas. I'm trying to be the good person in this, but they were trying to feed me this garbage of what they've observed in trying to exploit the human condition, and somehow learning that women don't value their vaginas, that they don't like receiving pleasure where they urinate from. They've used that against them, women. So, and this doppelganger use against me is, they pledged allegiance to never stop trying to get me to commit suicide. Infraguard, fusion centers, gang stalkers, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, CIA, and everything in between, the beast system, thus has pledged allegiance to never stop getting me, an American, induced to suicide. And somehow they've used mind control data to exploit women not liking receiving pleasure where they urinate and use that somehow to coerce them into sex. Like, I don't totally understand it. What else was I getting back on to say? Oh, file editing programs. So, like File Manager. If you're a targeted individual and your phone's getting hacked or your videos are getting altered, download multiple File Manager programs and like use them all if you haven't been able to root your phone outright. It destroys a lot of the programs that they put on your phone, and even Google has a File Manager program. Multiple File Manager programs for TIs is good advice.